Right, Signal. New series. Let's kick it off.
December 2023. GitHub. Signal desktop issue 6731. A user switches phones and relinks Signal desktop. The forced relink wipes all message history from the desktop client. Years of conversations, gone. Signal's own documentation is clear. Signal desktop does not support transferring the existing message history. The architecture that makes Signal private, message data stored locally on the device, means there is no server-side backup to restore from. The privacy protecting conversations from surveillance also protects them from their owner when hardware changes. March 2025, iOS to desktop sync crashes at 44%. Restarting does not resume. Recovery means deleting the app and beginning again. November 2025. iOS backup only works if the app stays in the foreground, the phone unlocked, and the screen on the backup interface. Not security failures, the usability bill for Signal's privacy architecture. Moxie Marlinspike founded Open Whisper Systems in 2013, building on earlier work that had produced Text Secure, an encrypted SMS tool, and Redphone, an encrypted calling app. His goal was specific: make strong cryptography usable for ordinary people, not only security researchers. He and Trevor Perrin developed the Signal protocol, a cryptographic design combining forward secrecy, asynchronous messaging, and deniability in a deployable form. The Signal protocol's reach extends well beyond Signal. WhatsApp adopted it in 2016. Facebook Messenger's secret conversations use it. Google Messages uses it for end-to-end encryption. The practical result? Billions of messages per day are protected by a protocol built by a privacy-focused non-profit. Message content on WhatsApp is secured by the same protocol as Signal. The metadata, the business model, and the ownership are entirely different. November 2015. Text Secure and Redphone merged into a single app called Signal. In February 2018, Brian Acton, the WhatsApp co-founder who left Facebook in 2017 over disagreements about the platform's privacy direction, donated $50 million to establish the Signal Foundation as a non-profit. The foundation was designed to insulate Signal from commercial pressure and acquisition. Signal does not need to monetize its users to operate. January 2021. WhatsApp announced changes to its privacy policy. Signal saw 17.8 million downloads in a single week, a 62-fold increase from the prior week. Elon Musk posted, "Use Signal." The app briefly became unavailable under the load. The moment moved Signal from niche privacy tool to mainstream symbol. January 2022. Marlinspike stepped down as chief executive. Meredith Whittaker, an artificial intelligence ethics researcher who left Google over its work with the US military, became Signal's president. The failure trail from 2023 through 2026 documents a consistent pattern: migration and backup workflows that fail on the production scenarios most likely to expose them. December 2023, GitHub 6731. Desktop history wiped on forced relink after switching phones. No recovery path. March 2025, GitHub 6002. iOS to desktop sync crashes mid-process at 44%. The sync does not resume from the failure point. February 2026, GitHub 14580. Messages vanish after 30 days on an Android device, despite the user having turned off disappearing messages both globally and in each conversation. This is a specific category of trust failure. Signal markets disappearing messages as a user-controlled privacy feature. When the feature activates without the user's instruction, it inverts its purpose. Rather than deleting what the user chose to delete, it destroys records the user chose to keep. February 2026. Signal on Android stops receiving new messages. Conversations fall days behind the actual exchange. The workaround is to force stop the app and restart it. The problem returns. March 2026. Signal Desktop 8.2.0 breaks on Windows 11. Reinstalling does not fix the problem. Signal's desktop client has a documented history of update regressions that break the application for a subset of users, while the team works through fixes. None of these incidents involve Signal's encryption being compromised. The protocol is sound. The failures are in the operational layers above the encryption, backup systems, sync workflows, platform compatibility, and feature behavior that does not match documented settings. Signal's privacy architecture is robust. The systems built around it to handle real-world device life cycles are not. Signal's encryption model in 2026 combines three components. The double ratchet algorithm provides forward secrecy and break-in recovery. Even if one session key is compromised, past and future messages remain protected. Extended triple Diffie-Hellman key exchange enables secure session establishment without requiring both parties to be online at the same moment. Pre-keys allow asynchronous messaging. This is the same cryptographic foundation WhatsApp uses for message content. The difference between Signal and WhatsApp is not the message encryption, it is the metadata model, the server ownership, the business structure, and what the operator can be compelled to disclose. Sealed sender provides an additional layer of protection. Most messaging infrastructure logs who sent a message, to whom, and when. Sealed sender obscures the sender identity from Signal's own servers. The recipient information is encrypted so that Signal processes the delivery without knowing with certainty who sent it. This is meaningfully more private than the standard model, though traffic analysis and account creation records still exist as potential exposure points. The phone number question is the most significant limitation for users in genuine threat environments. Registration still requires a phone number. A phone number is a carrier-linked identifier. Usernames, which Signal launched in February 2024, allow contacts to reach a user without knowing their number, and Signal now hides phone numbers from new contacts by default. What usernames do not do is remove the phone number from Signal's registration system. The account is still fundamentally tied to a number that a mobile carrier associates with an identity. If a legal process compels Signal to disclose account metadata, the phone number is the identifier on record. Private and anonymous are not the same thing. Signal is the former. The other apps in this series offer varying degrees of the latter. Signal is the correct starting point for most people who want a private messaging app. The encryption is the gold standard. The non-profit structure removes the advertising model and the data for revenue incentive that compromises most consumer messaging. The usability is good enough to actually get non-technical people to adopt it, which is a constraint that matters more than it might appear. A more secure app that contacts refuse to install offers less practical privacy than a slightly less pure app that everyone uses. Signal navigated that constraint better than any comparable tool. The documented failure modes from the research period are not reasons to avoid Signal. They are operational realities to plan around. Device migrations require preparation. The transfer workflow needs to be executed while both devices are available, the sync needs to complete without interruption, and desktop history requires explicit handling before the old device is retired. iOS backups require time, a stable connection, and the app kept active throughout. The February 2026 disappearing messages incident is the one that warrants attention. A privacy feature behaving contrary to its settings is a different category of problem from a sync workflow that requires careful execution. These are manageable constraints for anyone who knows they exist in advance. The phone number requirement and centralized architecture are the limits for journalists, activists, and people in genuine threat environments where the account identity itself needs to be protected. For those users, the other apps in this series are the relevant discussion. Session removes the account entirely. SimpleX removes the persistent user identity. The trade is convenience and adoption against anonymity. For the large majority of people choosing a private messaging app in 2026, Signal remains the answer. The usability bill for the privacy architecture is real. It is also the lowest bill available among apps that provide genuine end-to-end encryption by default at the scale Signal operates. Signal is private. It was designed to be private, not anonymous. That design choice defines both what it protects and what it cannot.